Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free, exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING, get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator, exclusively on DRF Bets. Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, kicking off the 50-cent late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park on Fountain of Youth Saturday. We begin with graded stakes action. The Grade 3 Honey Fox, fillies and mares going a mile on the turf, $150,000 is the purse. We take a look at this field. It is a very competitive race from top to bottom. Gift List, I think, is going to take some money, making her second start off of a lengthy layoff. She was far from embarrassed in the Pegasus World Cup filly and mare off the bench.
Yeah, I thought she ran pretty well in there. It was a pretty long layoff she was dealing with in that spot as well. You just have a bunch of these horses coming back out of that Pegasus World Cup filly and mare turf where, listen, the winner that day was just way too good for them. But several horses ran well in that race, and they're all right back in here.
I'm really curious as to your opinion on the pace situation. Timeform US believes it will be hot. Note the red bar indicating a potential fast pace. I personally believe that the number 3 Jouster is going to try to outbreak them all, get to the front, and while this one won't set glacial fractions, maybe she'll set fair ones.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just sort of felt like Jouster coming back off of this layoff, especially based on what she was doing as a 3-year-old. I thought she was going to the lead in here. She's really fast when she has to be. There are other speeds in here too, so I suppose that she could get pushed along up there, but I just wonder if she isn't faster than some of these horses early.
As you see by the pace projector, the number 1, Lovey, would really appreciate a fast and contested pace up front. She'll likely be coming from far behind. She came from last in her most recent start. A race we'll show you right now. A race washed off turf, the Sunshine filly and mare turf, and she got a great closer's trip here, Mike. She saved ground in behind the lead. Hole opens up for her. She eases out without losing too much ground and forges by. She really seems to like the synthetic.
Yeah, this was a great ride from Junior Alvarado. She was last, and the pace wasn't that fast early, but he just saved all the ground, got her clear. She won very easily. That was a good performance, but her turf form, while it's solid, it doesn't really make her a contender in here, Dan. This is a really tough spot for her.
Now, Sugar Fix ran second in the race we just showed you, but I believe she's better on turf than she is on synthetic. Whether she truly classes up against graded stakes competition might be another story. She did win the Claiming Crown Tiara 2 starts back, but her prior starts against graded stakes horses leave much to be desired.
Yeah, I mean, we look at her the same way. I think it's all right there for you on paper. In a race like this, she's just in really, really tough. She does have good tactical speed and an inside post. So maybe she trips out here and can pick up a piece of this. It's just hard to see her beating this field.
Jouster wasn't headed from 2 starts during the 2021 Gulfstream Park Championship meet, won the Appalachian Stakes at Keeneland going a mile over good going. And then in the Lake George last time out at Saratoga, she was just forced to go too fast in the early part of that race before tiring. The long layoff, again, would usually be a concern. It's the Great Pletcher. You don't worry about layoffs too much. It's just, how much pressure will she take in this spot?
I think that's the whole key for Jouster. A lot of her wins, she certainly took advantage of easy leads. That was certainly the case when she beat Gift List in the Appalachian last year at Keeneland. But prior to that, man, her two races right before that Appalachian, she went really fast paces in those races. The allowance win here at Gulfstream Park on a mile and a 16th. Those fractions may not look fast. The turf was less than firm. She was a huge favorite there, but she was moving on the early lead in that race. That was a good performance. Her Florida Oaks was also a fast pace, and she just failed to hold on. So she has shown, Dan, that she can go quick early and still be there at the end.
The number 4, Quinoa Tifa, is a stakes winner on sloppy dirt. Whether she's as good on turf remains to be seen. She does like to show speed. She is stretching out in distance, and she figures to be up close to the pace, if not outright on the lead. It's just whether she has the overall quality to overcome a potential fast pace in these better horses on a surface in which she still is a bit of an unknown.
Yeah, I mean, they've run her twice on turf, and she's based on those 2 races. she's not even close to good enough to be competitive in here. And it's not like her recent dirt form is going to sort of make you turn your head and feel like she's just better now. Her recent form is not good on the other surfaces.
Bipartisanship, the number 5. This is a horse that could certainly benefit from a fast pace, and she's shown flashes throughout her career as a maiden. She was third in a group stake in Ireland. Her race 2 starts back in the Tropical Park Oaks. She had to check off heels and upper stretch, but then a hole opened up, and she really finished it off very nicely. And last time out in the Pegasus World Cup turf, she had to give up a little bit of ground early.
She did. They rated her back. The pace was pretty solid in that race, though, so I don't think she was necessarily compromised by being taken back last time. She did, around that final turn, Dan, she did get sort of stuck over behind horses while the winner, Regal Glory, got moving to her outside. It's not a huge excuse, but there was a little bit of traffic for her in that race. I thought all in all, she ran fine. I liked her win 2 starts back, like it seems like everybody else did as well. And she just feels like an improving horse to me. She can win this race.
Giftless, the number 6, won second off the layoff last year when she took down the grade 2 Edgewood. She'll go second off the layoff here after racing 4th in the Pegasus World Cup. Thought it was all in all a decent enough trip. The pace was solid. She was able to save ground in the pocket, and she can certainly move forward off that race. She showed a lot of potential last year, and there's a potential for a nice year for her this year in 2022.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like there's a chance she turns out to be pretty good. I think in some ways she is the horse to beat in here, Dan. Her race off the layoff last time was fine. She looked a little bit fresh to me early in that race. Leparoux had a pretty big hold on her. She was doing a little bit of pulling there, trying to stay up with that pace, which was pretty solid. I thought she ran fine in there. She just missed second and third at the end. Her 3 starts last year as a 3-year-old, once they got over here, thought she ran great in all of them. She had a real trip in that Wonder again before the layoff. I don't know. I think she might be the horse to beat in here.
Michael Stidham has the 7 Alms, and he's done a really nice job with this daughter of City Zip. Heck, she missed over a year at one point in her career, and while she hasn't won since returning off the layoff, twice stakes placed, including the Pegasus World Cup, where she finished ahead of 3 of these. And Joel Rosario put her on the lead. She's not really known as a speed horse. Put her on the lead, withstood pressure from Shifty She, entering the second turn all the way to this point, and it takes a nice horse in Regal Glory to run her down. Alms was game for second.
She was. They were all just no match for the big favorite here. A good performance from Alms, and I liked the change of tactics with her dad because I just sort of felt like, for a horse that started out with a lot of potential, I sort of felt like she was sort of stalling, end of 2020 and then sort of end of last year as well. I didn't feel like she was really improving. So I liked that they tried something different last time and put her on the lead, and she actually ran pretty well. I'm still not completely sold on her, but I do realize that they don't have to ride her that aggressively this time.
Like Giftless, the number 8 Wakanaca can take big steps forward in her second start off of a lengthy layoff. She won the Italian 1,000 Guineas in April of 2021. It took her a long time to get back to the races. She was 6th in the Pegasus in her first start back for Bilmont, a good building block performance, and another that would benefit from a fast pace up front.
Yeah, she probably would. I'm probably not giving her enough credit because she was off of a pretty long layoff in that race last time. I kind of wanted to see her do a little bit more in that race, Dan. Overall, she got a really good trip in that race. The pace was there for her. She saved all the ground. She got clear in the stretch with plenty of room to run, and she just didn't really do that much with it. I mean, maybe she just needed the start. I think it's fair to look at it that way, but I really wasn't taken with that performance.
Mike, I know you've been very high on the number 9 in Italian since the start. This is a very lightly raced daughter of Dubawi, trained by Chad Brown. She went gate to wire in her last 2 races on slow paces, but she showed in her debut that she could rally from off the pace effectively. Let's watch her last start. Her first race off a long layoff, Chad found a great spot for her in an allowance race at Tampa Bay. She went to the front, dropped down easy fractions, and as they say in Italian, arrivederci.
Yeah, she's just flies away from this field once she's asked a little bit in the stretch. A good starting point for her. Obviously, this is a huge step up in class, and she's not going to wire this field. So there are things that you have to concern yourself with. I think she's shown a lot of talent in her 3 starts, Dad. Probably would have won her career debut with any kind of a trip there. She was still green in that race, got trapped behind horses, and then rallied too late. Her last 2 wins, I mean, you just can't win races any easier than she won them. I realize this is a big step up in class. It's confident placing by Chad Brown, I think, here. He had her entered in a stake at Tampa a couple weeks ago. He scratched her. He waited for this. I don't know. I think she's good. And I feel like if she is that good, this might be the time to get her at a fair price.
And she has a lot of upside potential. The 10 is Katama Moonlight, a winner 2 starts back at Gulfstream, going a mile. Thought the trip was there for her that day. She prompted this big long shot, who did end up finishing last, took over at the quarter pole, was best. They ran her in the Endeavor last time out. She was able to make the lead. She looked strong turning into the lane, and then she just didn't finish. And maybe that's a sign that this class is too tough for her.
Yeah, she's got a lot to prove here as they run her in another graded stakes race. It did not go well for her last time. She looks like a lot of other horses in here, Dan. She's got decent form, and she's pretty consistent. So you sort of can count on her to show up and run her race. But the question is, is she good enough to go with horses like this? And so far, she hasn't been.
The 11 is Navratilova, and while she did come from off the pace to win her career debut sprinting, her 2 best races to date have come when she's controlled the pace up front, including her most recent start against fellow 3-year-old fillies in the Grade 3 Valley View back in October. Let's watch Navratilova over yielding ground. She got to the lead, she backed down the fractions, and she aces the test. The runner-up, a pretty nice horse, Crazy Beautiful, would come back to run 3rd in the Comely on dirt with a 92 buyer. I personally think she's at her best when she makes the lead. I think it's going to be tough for her to do so here.
I agree. I don't want to just, sort of pigeonhole her as a horse who absolutely needs the lead to be effective, Dan. She's been okay without the lead, mostly in shorter races. We'll see. She's obviously got something to prove here. Drawing the far outside post did not do her any favors. But I do think she has some talent. I wouldn't, totally dismiss her chances in here.
Top pick time for the kickoff leg to the 50-cent pick 5. Michael X in Italian, the 9. I have to use this horse as well. But as you said, Mike, you might actually get a price on in Italian. And if she's as good as you think she is, it might be the last time.
Yeah, I feel like this is the time to try her if you think she's good. And I do think she's good. Obviously, if they wind up falling for her here and she goes off at some kind of short price, I'll be looking elsewhere. But I feel like this is the time to take a shot with In Italian. I like Gift List as well. I think she's the horse to beat. They were the 2 main horses for me in here.
I got Gift List up there as well. Curious to see if Alms can run 2 good ones back to back. It's kind of been an issue for her since the beginning of her career, but maybe she's racing herself back into shape off the layoff. She doesn't need the lead to win. I think she can work out a second flight trip. 9635 for Mike, 7695 for me at Gulfstream Park on Super Saturday. It's Fountain of Youth Saturday, and we kick off the 50-cent pick 5 with the Honey Fox. Good luck.